7 motorcycle helmets you should never buy, and 3 that could genuinely save your life. Because even among DOT-approved helmets, some barely scrape past minimum safety standards, while others exceed requirements by 65% based on Sharp's 32 impact test protocol and real injury data from over 700 crash victims, showing that half-helmet riders are twice as likely to suffer traumatic brain injuries, and non-standard helmet users face 2.5 times higher head injury risk. Item 7. Bell Custom 500. The Bell Custom 500 open-face helmet breaks my heart because it's gorgeous, iconic, and protects exactly 0 of your face. Bell invented modern motorcycle helmets in 1954, and this tribute features premium fiberglass composite construction with 5 shell sizes and beautiful graphics. But physics don't care about heritage. The Hurt Report reveals 35% of all crashes show major chin bar impacts, exactly where this 3/4 design offers no protection. Taiwan's Trauma Center study of 725 crash victims found open-faced helmet wearers were 2.57 times more likely to sustain head injuries compared to full-face users. We're talking compound jaw fractures requiring surgical reconstruction and dental damage costing tens of thousands. The Custom 500 is DOT and ECE certified for skull protection, but 77% of 2-vehicle fatal crashes involve frontal impacts, according to NHTSA, leaving your face completely exposed. If you insist on this style, pair it with a proper face shield and ride conservatively. Replace every 5 years or after any impact, as EPS liner compresses permanently. This helmet scores 4 out of 10 purely on nostalgia, because functionally it leaves half your head unprotected. Retro-styled, full-faced options exist that won't fund your dentist's vacation home. Up next at number 6, we got a full-face helmet that looks protective, DOT sticker, full coverage, budget price, but corners cut so aggressively it becomes a gamble. Item 6. Torc T1 Retro. The Torc T1 Retro full-face helmet looks promising with its DOT sticker and sub-$200 price, but corners cut here make protection a lottery. Torc combines basic polycarbonate shell with minimal EPS density variation and extremely basic retention systems. While DOT tests at 7.7 meters per second, Sharp tests at 8.5, and premium helmets exceed even that. Insurance Institute data shows unhelmeted riders face 3 times higher traumatic brain injury risk than helmeted riders. But helmet quality significantly affects outcome severity. Basic DOT-only helmets like the T1 protect against worse outcomes while leaving riders vulnerable to moderate to severe injuries that better helmets prevent. The T1's critical weakness is minimal temple and lower side reinforcement. Sharp testing reveals helmets failing these zones correlate with higher subdural hematoma rates. Owners report comfort issues, suggesting inadequate internal construction. Add another $100 for the HJC i10 or Scorpion XO R420, both using better materials and multi-density EPS. Stock with the T1? Check for stress cracks every few months. Replace liner material annually with daily riding. Never trust it past 3 years. This helmet scores 3 out of 10. It keeps you legal and might save your life in minor crashes, but cost-cutting fundamentally compromises catastrophic energy absorption. But if you think the Torc is bad, wait until you see budget modular helmets where everything that can go wrong does. Item 5. Vega Summit 3.0. The Vega Summit 3.0 modular helmet appears smart on paper. Modular convenience, internal sun visor, DOT approved, under $300. Then reality hits. The Summit's fatal flaw is its ventilation system's complete absence. Top vents are decorative. Chin bar vents pull almost no air. Exhaust ports might as well be painted on. Your face shield fogs instantly below 60 degrees. Your head cooks in summer, and you're constantly cracking a shield open just to breathe. That distraction kills because managing fogged shields while riding pulls attention from the road. But ventilation reveals deeper problems. The flip-up chin bar mechanism feels flimsy. Multiple owners report locking system failures within the first year, leaving the chin bar loose enough to rattle at highway speeds. If it pops open on impact, you've essentially got an open-faced helmet. Biomechanics labs show modular helmets with weak chin bar locks perform significantly worse in frontal impacts, offering barely more protection than half helmets. The shield system's cheap quick release mechanism strips easily, and Vega's parts availability is spotty. That internal sun visor scratches easily, and the deployment mechanism binds regularly. Test that chin bar lock obsessively every ride. Any play means immediate retirement. Run anti-fog inserts year-round and budget for replacement in 18 months. The Summit scores 3 out of 10. Modular helmets require precision engineering to work safely, and Vega missed that target completely. And speaking of modular failures, number 4 proves even established brands can botch flip-up designs when rushed to market. Item 4, LS2 Rebellion. The LS2 Rebellion, specifically pre-2020 models, sits at number 4. And this one's tricky because LS2 actually makes decent helmets. The Rebellion isn't one of them. This modular helmet suffers from a catastrophic visor mechanism that fails with disturbing regularity. Between months 6 and 18, the flip-up mechanism show and play and the ratchet system stops clicking reliably. Then one day at 65 miles per hour, that visor pops up on its own, blasting wind directly into your eyes and face shield. That sudden wind blast triggers target fixation where your brain locks onto the helmet malfunction instead of the semi merging into your lane. Crash investigators call these mechanical distraction incidents, responsible for hundreds of motorcycle accidents annually. The Rebellion uses proprietary gear systems overbuilt in wrong places and under-engineered where it counts. When it fails, roughly 30 to 40% of units within 2 years based on owner reports, replacement parts run over $150, requiring semi-professional installation. Beyond the visor issue, the Rebellion's EPS liner uses older single-density foam technology surpassed by multi-density systems. The chin bar lock shows concerning flex under testing procedures, and weight distribution puts too much forehead load, causing pressure points on rides longer than an hour. If you own a Rebellion, inspect that visor mechanism before every ride. The second it hesitates, budget for immediate replacement. The Rebellion scores 4 out of 10, but that visor mechanism is a time bomb. Now, item 3, Daytona Skull Cap. Welcome to number 3, where we stop being nice. The Daytona Skull Cap is technically DOT approved while offering approximately as much protection as a leather swimming cap. This half helmet covers roughly 55% of your head using exactly 1 inch of EPS foam at its thinnest point around the ears. Daytona markets this as a feature, bragging it's the smallest DOT-approved helmet on the market. That's like bragging your parachute is the smallest FAA-approved parachute. Taiwan research involving 725 crash victims found half-coverage helmet riders were twice as likely to suffer traumatic brain injury compared to full-face users. A separate American study found half helmet wearers experienced head injuries at 2.57 times the rate of full coverage users. We're talking about subdural hematomas, skull fractures, permanent cognitive impairment, and death. The skull cap's weakness is everything below your hairline and behind your ears. Your face, jaw, chin, temples, and occipital region get zero protection. The Hurt report shows 35% of crashes involve chin bar impacts, and NHTSA data reveals 77% of two-vehicle fatal crashes result in frontal impacts. This helmet protects against 0% of facial impacts. If you insist, despite everything, except you're gambling with permanent disability, replace every 3 years maximum. Never ride faster than 30 miles per hour. The skull cap scores 2 out of 10. Marginally better than riding bareheaded. At least the skull cap's honest. But number 2 is a full face from a respected brand delivering obsolete technology at premium prices. Item 2. HJC CL17. Number 2 stings because HJC makes several helmets I actually recommend. The CL17 isn't one of them. It's living in 2015 while safety technology moved on. The CL17 launched as HJC's budget full-face offering under $200 based on price point alone. But budget engineering gets you a polycarbonate shell with minimal reinforcement, single-density EPS liner, basic ventilation that barely works, and comfort padding flattening within 6 months. It meets DOT standards and probably won't kill you in minor crashes, but probably won't kill you is a pathetically low bar. The CL17's critical weakness is side impact performance. Temple area and lower side use the same foam density as the crown, meaning impacts from the side don't benefit from optimized energy absorption. Modern helmets use firmer foam at impact zones and softer foam at less critical areas. The CL17 uses one density everywhere, meaning it's either overprotected in some areas and underprotected in others. Biomechanics research shows helmets not managing rotational forces well produce higher subdural hematoma risks. The CL17 has no rotational impact mitigation technology, no advanced liner systems, nothing. Owner reports consistently mention comfort problems after a few months. That padding compresses fast and unevenly, creating pressure points, turning long rides into endurance tests. If you own a CL17, budget for replacement within 2 years because materials won't last long. The CL17 scores 4 out of 10. HJC's newer models address every issue for about $50 more. But if outdated foam concerns you, number 1 combines multiple catastrophic design flaws stacking like bad Jenga. Item 1. Scorpion Covert older models. The number 1 helmet you should never buy. The older Scorpion Covert modular helmet. Specifically pre-2018 models. The Covert was Scorpion's attempt at low-profile modular for cruiser and touring riders. The concept was solid, the execution catastrophic. The chin bar uses a locking mechanism performing acceptably when new, but degrading rapidly with use. Multiple crash test analysts found the Covert's chin bar, when tested after simulated 6-month use, showed significant flex under frontal impact loads. In a real crash after normal use, that chin bar might fold back, converting full-face protection into open-face disaster mid-impact. The Covert's slim profile comes from using thinner EPS foam across critical zones. Scorpion's engineers prioritized looks over safety, shaving millimeters from protective layers to achieve low-profile aesthetics. The result passes DOT certification pristine, but degrades below effective protection faster than any mainstream helmet. The internal sun visor mechanism strips around month 10. When stripped, that visor gets stuck either down or half deployed, creating permanent tint or visual obstruction you can't clear. Forum reports and trauma nurse accounts paint grim pictures. Multiple riders report chin bars opening during relatively minor crashes, resulting in facial injuries that should have been prevented. One documented California case involved compound jaw fractures when a Covert's chin bar released during a 35-mile-per-hour crash. If you own an older Covert, replace it immediately. The Scorpion Covert scores 2 out of 10, representing everything wrong with prioritizing aesthetics over engineering. All right, we've covered the 7 avoid at all cost helmets. Now let's talk about 3 helmets consistently saving lives, starting with Olympic level protection at number 3. Item 3, Shoei RF1400. Number 3 on our life-saving list, the Shoei RF1400 is legitimately one of the safest helmets on the planet. The RF1400 is Snell M 2020 certified, putting it in rare company. Only 15% of helmets pursue Snell certification because it requires testing at higher impact speeds with more stringent requirements than DOT. The European version, called the NXR2, scored 5 stars on sharp testing. Perfect marks across all 32 impact tests at 8.5 meters per second impacts. Shoei's AIM Plus shell construction uses a 6-ply matrix of organic and high-performance fiberglass, providing strength and energy absorption exceeding most competitors. The shell flexes slightly on impact in controlled ways to absorb energy before reaching your brain. Inside sits a dual-layer multi-density EPS liner with zones tuned to specific impact types, frontal, side, or rear. Most helmets use 2 densities maximum. Shoei uses multiple. The RF14 weighs about 3 pounds and size large, making it the lightest Snell M2020 certified full-faced helmet Shoei makes. Lower mass means less neck load during crashes and reduced fatigue. Shoei backs this with a 5-year warranty. Replace EPS components per schedule, keep vents clean, treat the shield carefully. The RF1400 scores 9.2 out of 10. It's pricey at $500 and lacks an internal sun visor, but for pure protective capability, this sits at the top. But impressive as the Shoei is, number 2 redefines what's possible with perfect 5-star sharp ratings and 65% safety margins over the newest standards. Item 2, AGV K6. Number 2 is the AGV K6, representing bleeding-edge safety technology accessible to regular riders. The K6 achieved perfect 5-star sharp rating. But here's where this gets interesting. It's one of only 8 helmets scoring 5 out of 5 across all 15 sharp impact zones. At 3 different impact speeds, at 5 different locations, this helmet performed flawlessly with 0 failures and perfect energy absorption. AGV claims the K6 exceeds ECE 2206 requirements by 36% in direct impacts and 65% in oblique impacts. Those oblique impacts are rotational forces causing subdural hematomas and traumatic brain injuries. That 65% margin is derived from certification testing data, not marketing spin. ECE 2206 is already the newest, most stringent standard worldwide. The secret is AGV's 5-density EPS liner system. Most premium helmets use 2 or 3 densities. AGV uses 5, with each zone precisely tuned through MotoGP racing data. The carbon aramid fiber shell provides optimal strength-to-weight ratios at 2.7 to 2.95 pounds. AGV's extreme safety protocol tests at 15 impact points instead of 6 required by ECE or 4 by DOT. Replace every 5 years or after any impact. The K6 scores 9.6 out of 10. At $550 to $600, it's expensive, but you're buying technology exceeding latest safety standards by absurd margins. And yet, number 1 represents 5 decades of uncompromising engineering, saving more riders than any brand. Item 1, Arai Regent X. Number 1 on our life-saving list, the Arai Regent X. I'm basing this on 5 decades of Arai's safety record. Specific engineering choices that matter in real crashes, and the fact that Arai's have been saving riders since before most of us were born. The Regent X is both DOT and Snell M2020 certified, with European Profile V variant scoring 4 stars on Sharp. Why not 5 like the AGV? Because Arai makes different engineering choices, optimizing for real-world crash dynamics rather than test protocols. Arai's philosophy is helmets should glance off objects rather than grip them, reducing rotational forces. That round R75 shape is intentional engineering to minimize rotational acceleration during impacts. Every Regent X is handcrafted in Japan using peripherally belted complex laminate construction. Laminated fiberglass shell with super fabric belt wrapping the eye port, the weakest area. The one-piece multi-density EPS liner is tuned with varying densities according to position within each shell size. The Regent X comes in 3 shell sizes, ensuring EPS liner thickness is correct for impact absorption. Arai refuses internal sun visors because they compromise shell integrity. They refuse cutting vents through critical impact zones. Every decision prioritizes your head surviving. Arai offers 7-year warranty from manufacturer. Replace every 5 years, regardless of condition. The Regent X scores 10 out of 10. At $560, it's expensive, but worth every penny. This isn't the flashiest helmet. It's the helmet I'd grab if I knew I was crashing tomorrow. That's your definitive breakdown. 7 motorcycle helmets you should never buy, from the Daytona Skull Cap that barely covers your head to the Scorpion Covert with its failing chin bar, and 3 lifesavers from the Shoei RF1400 to the Arai Regent X that prove quality engineering saves lives when full-face helmets reduce head injuries by 2.5 times compared to half helmets. Hit that subscribe button because I spend months researching crash data from trauma centers and analyzing sharp test results to give you the truth about riding gear the manufacturers don't advertise. And drop a comment below telling me what helmet you're wearing. Your experiences help other riders make informed decisions that might save their lives when someone runs that red light.